On April 4, 2011, President Barack Obama announced his re-election campaign, despite having lied about every campaign promise. His first promise was to close the disgusting CIA-run prison in Cuba, but that never happened. The president and the Pentagon were criticized in Congress and the press for their pointless surge in Afghanistan that resulted in no military progress. Criticism suddenly ended.
Good evening. Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children.
President Obama repeatedly suggested that bin Laden was responsible for the 9/11 attacks and immediately went to New York to lay a wreath on the World Trade Center site. The FBI had never released evidence that Osama bin Laden was involved in the 9/11 attacks, nor has anyone else. The U.S. Justice Department charged a Kuwaiti for orchestrating the 9/11 attacks, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. See the short video linked below for details. Pictures of the president and his key staff watching this assassination raid were instantly released, implying that he was in command. Whoever planned this was 100% certain of success, because they gathered the president, vice president, secretaries of state and defense, and top generals to watch the raid and pose for photos. The corporate media congratulated everyone in his administration. President Obama's approval rating soared and deterred Democratic primary challengers and potential Republican candidates. We are told Navy SEALs captured a huge cache of files, papers, and video during the raid that should provide actionable intelligence to round up some al-Qaeda members and thwart terror plans. Then why did President Obama announce the raid to the world just 2 days later? The CIA later announced the raid turned up evidence that bin Laden planned future terror attacks in the United States, but then couldn't arrest terrorists since President Obama tipped them off. The CIA claimed it got a tip in August 2010 that bin Laden lived in an upscale Pakistani suburb amongst retired Pakistani military officers and down the street from Pakistan's military academy. They set up a surveillance post near the house while satellites took photos that yielded some proof. Then why did they wait 8 months to kick down the door to find out? Bin Laden could have slipped away at any time. The United States had Predator drones armed with missiles loitering over Pakistan, killing anyone who looked like a terrorist, and blowing up homes based on weak intelligence, only a few hours old, but spent months to act on a good tip about the location of bin Laden? He wasn't in a fortress protected by hundreds of al-Qaeda and apparently had no security at all. Since bin Laden was wanted by American ally Pakistan as well, why not demand an immediate combined raid? The American military raid was obviously a staged event. Pakistan has a sophisticated air defense system, and flying slow helicopters deep into Pakistan risked disaster. It was noted that the 2 Black Hawks were a stealthy design, but the 2 other helicopters used were huge non-stealthy CH-47Gs, pictured. And one lesson learned from Black Hawk Down is that you never hover a helicopter over a hostile area to allow commandos to fast rope down, as they claim was done in this raid. Anyone can shoot a common RPG or machine gun out a nearby window and down a hovering helicopter. Dogs are a standard security feature in every third world home. If one builds high walls topped by barbed wire, of course he will keep several big dogs in the compound to deter and warn of intruders. Those who wrote the script forgot about this and say dozens of SEALs landed in the courtyard, kicked down doors, and didn't open fire until they encountered a courier inside. What about the dogs? They would have started barking at the strange helicopter noises long before they landed and would have attacked the SEALs. They could have shot the dogs, but that wouldn't sound nice at press conferences. Helicopters are loud, even the quiet ones used by the special forces. News reports at the scene recorded residents saying they were woken by the incoming helicopters. If odd helicopters began landing and shooting occurs in a nice suburb, several Pakistani policemen would show up with assault rifles at the ready. The official story is that Navy SEALs were on the ground for 40 minutes, but local police would have shown up in 10 minutes. Every purported video of bin Laden shows an AK-47 close by. The script should have him blazing away until cut down by Navy SEALs. The CIA script has Osama bin Laden just waiting to get shot in the head, as though the helicopters, gunfire, and use of explosives to blast down doors never alerted him to danger. Certainly bin Laden would have an escape plan. He'd arm booby traps and run out his secret passage. If this were a real raid, SEALs would have landed 4 miles away and walked to surround the courtyard to ensure no one escaped. Teams would slip over the walls to gain entry to the house without alerting the occupants. This is called special ops. Fast roping into an urban compound from loud hovering helicopters is a staged show that would only be attempted if the area had been secured beforehand. And while the SEALs were collecting papers and computers at the site, no one thought to grab his 3 wives for questioning. We have hundreds of, quote, war on terror prisoners who have been held for years, questioned hundreds of times, and even tortured because they once met bin Laden. His wives are the ultimate source of information. Who might know about all these planned terror attacks? Why not snatch them to interrogate for a few days? The most ridiculous claim is about the corpse. The Pentagon said they can't release photos because it worried about upsetting Muslims after thousands of American aerial bombings over the past decade. At least they should show the courtesy of providing doctored photos before dumping the body at sea. And since the names of everyone on the SEAL team raid is secret, the press cannot confirm anything. And the SEALs may have been unaware the raid was a hoax too. It is clear that a deal was made with Pakistan, either the entire government or just a few key generals. Evading Pakistani air defenses with huge MH-47G helicopters was just too risky, if not impossible. Moreover, Pakistani police would have shown up at the scene minutes after helicopter landings. The only question is if bin Laden had died years before and this entire operation was a publicity stunt, or if he was sold out by the Pakistanis who had imprisoned him and didn't tell the world so as not to upset their Saudi ally. There is good evidence that bin Laden died years before this raid. He was in poor health, walked with a cane, and required kidney dialysis several times a week. The erratic videotapes that appeared since 2001 were of questionable authenticity. Paul Craig Roberts provided an excellent case that bin Laden died in 2001. See his article linked below. This explains President Bush's 2002 press conference.
Mr. President, in your speeches now, you rarely talk or mention Osama bin Laden. Why is that? Also, can you tell the American people if you have any more information, if you know if he is dead or alive? Final part here. Deep in your heart, don't you truly believe that until you find out if he is dead or alive, you won't really eliminate the threat of...
Well, deep in my heart, I know the man's on the run if he's alive at all. And who knows if he's hiding in some cave or not. We hadn't heard from him in a long time.
This would also explain why the CIA disbanded its special Alex Station unit in 2006, whose mission was to find bin Laden. See the article linked below. The BBC interviewed former Pakistani Premier Benazir Bhutto in 2007, who stated that bin Laden had been killed. See the video linked below. Her comment was ignored by the Western media, and the BBC deleted that comment from later newscasts. Bhutto was assassinated shortly after that interview. The official raid story ignores the odd prosecution of Pakistani military doctor Shakil Afridi. The United States claims that he is a hero who positively identified bin Laden's whereabouts. Afridi was arrested while trying to flee Pakistan after the raid. On May 23, 2012, he was sentenced to 33 years imprisonment for treason. Why did the Pakistani military consider him a traitor and endure a cutoff of American military aid for imprisoning Afridi? The only rational explanation is that he was assigned to care for sickly, imprisoned Osama bin Laden and leaked that secret. In 2015, famous reporter Seymour Hersh wrote a bombshell story explaining that the raid to kill Osama bin Laden was fake. Hersh claimed that sickly bin Laden was under house arrest by the Pakistani military, and a few generals accepted reward money to allow an American team to show up and execute him. Hersh's story is linked below. While the corporate media attack Hersh's, quote, conspiracy theory, they learned that CIA expert R.J. Hillhouse wrote about this in 2011. She made the same assertions based on different sources than used by Hersh. See the article linked below. The CIA had been criticized for torturing and killing terror suspects. The world was informed that Osama bin Laden was found because of these dirty deeds. The CIA worked closely with Sony Pictures to produce a film that praised the CIA, the U.S. military, and the Obama administration, which appeared just weeks before President Obama's reelection. This raid tale is based on trust us information from the CIA and Pentagon. They refuse to answer questions about dubious details, stating that some will never accept their incredible story, especially those who saw CIA Director Mark Pompeo laughing in 2019, saying the CIA lies about everything.
Cadet, what's the cadet motto at West Point? You will not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses. It reminds you of the glory of the American experiment.
Seymour Hersh spent decades reporting on wars and the U.S. military. He summarized this false tale. Quote, high-level lying nevertheless remains the modus operandi of U.S. policy, along with secret prisons, drone attacks, special forces night raids, bypassing the chain of command, and cutting out those who might say no. 24 or 25 guys go into the middle of Pakistan, take out a guy with no air cover, no protection, no security, and no trouble. Are you kidding me?